Welcome to the Excelsior Health Podcast. This is the podcast for busy professionals and busy parents looking to transform their health. And what we do, guys, on this podcast is we take the complicated, scary aspects of fitness and nutrition, and we break it down to simple strategies and simple tactics so that way you guys can actually see results. I'm your host, Coach Cory Fernandez, and guys, we're here with another great episode. And actually, it's going to be a little bit of a mini series. I want to go a little bit deeper into this topic. And basically what this next 5 episodes are going to be is the 5 myths that are holding back busy professionals from transforming their health. All right. So I want you to think about like this. What does transforming your health mean? To me, it's taking somebody, in regards to the busy professional, busy parent. Hey, you're probably somewhere in your mid to late 30s. You're in your 40s, you're in your 50s. Maybe you're just touching your early 60s. Those are usually the people that we're working with and we're trying to help the most. But you might be in an unhealthy lifestyle, right? And what this means is you might be overweight. You might have a high body fat percentage. You might be under muscled. You might be deconditioned, which just basically means you're not that fit. Right? Your strength to performance, you can't do a lot of things, and you're just overall putting yourself at risk. So when I say, the 5 myths that are holding you back from transforming your health, there's some things that you believe right now to be true, which is stopping you from taking the actions and producing the results. And transforming your health, what I want to be clear on is, hey, we want to take, the woman, in these mid 30s and, up to 60, we want to get you guys out of the unhealthy body fat category of, 40 something percent, 30 something percent, and we need to get you into the healthy category. So for most women, under 30% body fat, 25 to 30%, you're a healthy woman, right? You're not at risk of like chronic diseases like diabetes, obesity, things like cancer, things like that. Those are usually not what you're worried about when you're in this stage. But there's still room for improvement. So if we were to take it down even further of transforming your health, for a lot of women is them getting anywhere from that 18, to 24% body fat. It's a really, really healthy place where they're fit, they're lean, and they're obviously performing at a pretty high level. Now, moving on to the guy's side, again, getting into that healthy category for most men, about 20%, if you want to say 16, 17 to 20%, you're a healthy male. All right. But there's definitely room for improvement, especially if you want to have some more definition, some more muscle mass, and you want to perform at a high level. So for a lot of our guys, our goal is to get them anywhere from, 10 to 15% body fat. That's a really good place to maintain and get some amazing results. All right. So myth number 1, all right, when it comes to busy professionals transforming their health is the concept is you do not have enough time. So that's what today is going to talk about is you just don't have enough time. And the amount of times I heard that, what's that expression is if I had a penny for every time I heard that, I'd be rich. As a coach, we hear it all the time. It's coach, I don't have time. Coach, I don't have time. I'm busy. Today, I want to break down a little bit on you do have the time. You're just not prioritizing it. But also even more important is there's actually nothing more important in your life than transforming your health. Because if you don't have your health, then you can't do all the other things. You can't spend time with your wife, your husband, your kids. You can't go on the vacations. You can't work in the business and the career that you want to. So we're going to go over a little bit of how you guys need to look at time, but then also some strategies on how to basically book your week to make use of the time you have. All right. So one of our expressions here at Training for Warriors is do more in your 164. And where this expression comes from, there's 168 hours in the week. All right. What we want our clients, our students is what we call it here, is we want them to commit 3 to 4 days a week here in person. So we're trying to mold people to believe, hey, I'm going to exercise, I'm going to train 4 days a week. So we have this expression, it's painted up in our walls, is into the roar 164. And what it means is, hey, you're in this place 4 days a week. The other 164 hours in the week, you're going out there and you're working on all the other lifestyle habits, right? You're working on your nutrition, you're working on your sleep, overcoming stress and adversity. That's our expression. So with that being said, you guys now know, if you didn't know, hey, there's 168 hours in the week. A lot of people are listening to this podcast, or maybe they're not. They believe working out 3 hours a week out of 168 is unattainable. Like, they just don't have enough time to do that. And hopefully when I just say that simple math right there, you kind of be like, man, that's kind of ridiculous when I hear that. I might be wrong. Maybe you guys could do the math on this, but I'm pretty sure 4 hours divided by 168 is like 4%. I'm pretty sure that's the math. So 4% in the week. That's pretty crazy. All right. So let me give you guys some more numbers to play around with. You might say, hey, coach, like, I'm a busy professional, man. Like, I work 40 hours a week. I'm running my business. Like, it's hard. So let's take that into consideration. Let's say you work a standard 8 hours per week. Let's say you do that 5 times per week, right? Monday to Friday. I know some of you guys work the weekends, but that's around 40 hours per week. Okay, we're going to put that on the equation. Now, let's say you got to travel. You know, we are in Mississauga, we are in Toronto. Maybe some of you guys, different parts of the globe. You know, we got lots of listeners from Belgium, Iceland, Finland, which I always appreciate you guys commenting. But hey, say maybe travel. So let's put another 2 hours per day, right? Let's multiply that by 5 days in the week. That's an extra 10 hours. And maybe you guys could track this while you're at home, so this could hit home with you. Sleep. Let's say you're actually listening to this podcast and you're implementing and you're really putting those 8 hours of sleep per day. Let's multiply that by 5 days a week. That's 40 hours. Maybe I should have times that by 7, but you guys get the point. We're at 40 hours. And then, hey, let's say family activities. And I'm going to put this high just to make a point. Let's say 3 hours a day of family activities. Maybe that's cooking. Maybe that's going to your kids' practice. It's spending connection time and all these things. So 3 times 5 days, that's an extra 15 hours that we're at right now for family time during the week. Now, also, let's say eating, right? We got to eat. You're telling us all these nutrition habits, coach. I got to eat. So let's say you have 3 meals per day. You like to eat slow and talk with your friends and family, coworkers. So let's say 3 hours per day multiplied by 7 days, that's 21 hours. So what I basically have of what I just told you guys, some of the key areas in your life, I said your career, working 40 hours a week, your travel, 2 hours per day, your sleep, getting 8 hours, your family activities up to 3 hours per day, and then also eating 3 hours per day. Where we currently are, guys, is 121 hours in the week. Going back to what I said, there's 168 hours in the week. So 168 hours subtracted by 121, that's leaving us with 47 hours to still transform our health and make things happen. So hopefully a lot of you guys right now are like, damn, I got the time. I'm just not maximizing my time. I'm not making it a priority. And now let's go a little bit step deeper. And if you're wondering, like, okay, I hear what you're saying, coach, I got 47 hours left, right, in this week. What about the working out part? So let's take a look at that. If you were to train 4 hours per week, 4 days for life is our expression. That's magnificent. That's what I recommend most people do. But even put on top of that, let's say you're someone who comes into our facility, right? So let's say it's a half an hour commute, half an hour when you're leaving. That's about 2 hours of your day. I can understand that's time. That's another 8 hours per week that we're putting into the equation. Now, you've heard it on the podcast before. Hey, strength training is super important. But if we also want to lose body fat, we also want to improve our heart and our lungs, but also we want to relieve stress, we better make time to get our steps in and walk out outside. And what I would recommend is, hey, you know what? Something as simple as like 30 minutes per day, that's going to be another additional 4 hours in a week. So if I'm taking that 12 hours of really intentional movement and I'm subtracting it by the 47 hours that we have available, hey, that's 35 hours left in the week to still sit on your ass, watch Netflix, do nothing, read a book, work harder in your business, spend more time with your loved ones. But the only difference is those remaining hours, they're going to be lived so much better because of the things you're doing in the other hours. All right. So things that we can replace, that is, I guarantee, keeping some of your time right now and stopping you from transforming your health as a busy professional. Number one, it's social media. Right? Social media is one of the most challenging things. I've been, even when I'm on social media, I've been seeing recently like what it was like to live in like the 1990s. And like, it was so cool that like, there was just times that you would be outside, like even as a kid, you're playing outside. There's no connection. You can't go on the internet. You're just there present in the moment with people. If you're older, you're out at a restaurant, you're out somewhere else. All you can do is be engaged with the people that's in front of you. Obviously, it's an amazing blessing, an amazing opportunity. I know I wouldn't be able to have the business that I have if it wasn't for the internet. But the reality is social media and the internet is one of the biggest distractions that we have right now. And for whether it's your health and your fitness, or it's your career, or it's the quality relationships, it's distracting you. And sometimes it's making you think that you don't have enough time for those areas. So I don't know what the stat is. Maybe chat GPT it, Google it. But I guarantee you most of us, we're spending upwards to 2 hours, or maybe more for some people, just literally on screen time and social media, scanning, going through, watching other people's lives. So that's one area guaranteed that you can start to minimize to make more time to work out. Because you can literally be stuck in a loop for 40 minutes on your couch where you could have spent that same 40 minutes working out. Maybe it's not, coming here and doing an amazing training session at Training for Warriors, but you could have done a workout at home. You could have went outside and gotten a walk in. Another area for you guys to look at and where you could kind of minimize the time you're putting into is, hey, watching TV shows, right? I love a good show, but if you know every single character and if you know every single show out there, but you are not making yourself the main character in terms of your health and fitness, you have your priorities off, right? If you can just let Netflix go out and bang out marathons, but you don't have enough time to train 3 days a week, we got priorities. All right. Next area, watching sports. So I am an athlete. My whole life, I've been like around movement in sports, whether it's basketball, football, even recently as Toronto fans, like we were just crazed by the Blue Jays. If it's more important to you to watch every single game, whether it's on football on a Sunday or during the week, staying up late and compromising your sleep, these are all excuses on why you don't have enough time to prioritize your health and fitness. And I was just telling Vero that, man, like, I don't even remember the last time I watched like a full NFL game. Like I went a whole season without watching it. I tuned in to watch the Super Bowl. And that's not to put me on a high pedestal. It's just like my health and fitness is a priority. My business, my family, those things are a priority. And I got to make time by removing time. There's other areas right now that I'm wasting time in, like social media and things like that I got to get better at. But watching sports, if I'm a guy, or I know girls watch sports too, watching, reality TV, like these are things that just take us away from more important areas of our life. Here's another one. Again, I love to do this, but to a certain capacity, it's just chilling on the weekend. Like maybe it's, every weekend you have something planned where you have to be social with certain friends and certain family. And I just want to ask yourself that question. Like, when you go to certain environments and there's alcohol around, there's food around, you got to stay up later. Are those also reasons why you're not sticking to your fitness goals? Why you're not training? Why you're not eating a certain way? So you might have to make a decision that doesn't mean you have to cast away yourself from some of the people you love, but do you have to say no a little bit more often so that way you can wake up the next day, be prepared, have the energy, have the concentration to do the things that's most important in your life? And here's a really good example. I'm so proud. One of my students, it's her birthday is this weekend, and she's been with me for years. And she always showers me with little like gifts, and I'm just not myself the gift person, but she's always that person who looks out for me. And I messaged her and I said, hey, like I really want to take you to dinner for your birthday and just catch up. I haven't, really seen you for a while. And she was like, oh my God, thank you so much, coach. I'm so appreciative. But I'm at a stage right now where I'm so close to making a breakthrough in my long-term goal of the year. I just don't want to be in a restaurant environment. I got my shit going on. And I was just like, it was just like a proud coaching moment that although she would love to be with me and eat some good food, she had the ability and the strength and the power to say no. Because for her, it was more important to have her workouts, her meals, her social environment together. So that's just an example. So key points, guys, that I want to say. I said this to start is you don't have time to waste not training and walking and making time for it, right? There's literally, when you're a healthy person, there's literally thousands of problems that you think about on a day-to-day basis. It's family, it's work, it's this, it's vacation. There's thousands of things that you're trying to solve. When you're unhealthy, when you're sick, there's literally one thing that you think about. That's it, is how can I be healthy? How can I have more time with my family? So right now, today's episode, guys, this is a reminder is you have the time, right? There's 168 hours a week. You have the time. You need to make the time. And this is the beautiful thing that we're going to kind of finalize this episode as. If you make the time for living this healthy lifestyle, strength training 3 to 4 days a week, getting your walks in for 30 minutes, 4 to 7 days per week, you will actually increase the amount of time you get back in your life. So some of you guys right now is like, your clock is getting short. If you're a 35-year-old male or woman listening to this, typically most people in North America, they live till, 75, 80, whatever the age is. So technically we're at midlife. And it's like, if you don't start changing your movement patterns and your lifestyle, that clock can shorten down. Where now it's like, early 70s, late 60s, you're passing away. Or if you're doing what we're talking about, you're going to add years to your life. Maybe you live to your 80s, maybe you live to your 90s, maybe you get to your hundreds, but even better than just more time, it's the quality of the time in which you're living right now. Why live this life where we're scared to put on certain clothes? We're scared to go to the beach because we don't feel confident. We can't go on these amazing hikes and these amazing adventures. We're terrified to like take the step in our career because of the way we look and because of our energy levels and our lack of confidence. So today, guys, that's kind of like the big breakthrough is your health, your fitness, your lifestyle. It's going to add more time, but it's going to add years back to your life. And what I'll end off here is maybe just a simple tool that you can use if you feel like you're the person that, coach, I get what you're saying. It's just like, how do I do this? How do I implement this in my life? So step one I would say is create a weekly, almost like some people call it like a perfect week, a weekly exceptional list. So what I recommend is on a Sunday, cup of coffee, tea, some quiet time in the morning, plan your week out. And the first things you want to do is put certain blocks, is block out when is your time for health and fitness. I think that should be one of the first things. Maybe if you want to put above that, your family time because your family is so important to you, but block out when are those 4 hours or those 3 hours of training and have them set on consistent times. Yes, they can move around as life happens, but for most of us that are trying to make this a lifestyle, it's in our favor to have consistent times where our family knows it's time, our work knows it's time. It's just set in the schedule and it doesn't move much. And we build the other things around those. So start with that. Then again, build your job, your business. Is it 9 to 5? Is it times in the morning? Is it times in the evening? Build your kids' extracurricular activities. You got to drop them off at practice. You got to watch. Then go build the social times. And if you can fit it in, make sure you put your sleep time in there. And before you know it, you can see this is what my ideal week looks like. These are the major rocks in my life. They're on the calendar. And I guarantee you will still have gaps in the schedule to do nothing, to watch TV, to chill out, to be creative. But that's one place that you can start. And then another tool that we've said on this podcast before is the Power List. Power List is very popularized from Andy Frisella, who's the creator of the Live Hard program and 75 Hard. Very simple. It's each day before you go to bed, you're reflecting on your day. And what you want to do is you want to write down what are the 5 critical tasks that if you do these things tomorrow, your life is better. You're in a positive step in the right direction. And a lot of times those 5 critical tasks, they could be all for your business if that's your mindset, but I'm saying this in a way like make it for your life. So you might have 2 things in there that are related to your work, which is important, but you might have 1 critical task that has to get done tomorrow for your family. But then you might have 2 really critical habits that you're not really executing at a high level, but when it comes to your health journey. So for some of you guys, what we're talking about in this topic, it's the workout. Like you got to put in, man, I got to get my workout in. Maybe for you, the workout is something you do religiously, but you suck at walking. So it's like putting that as one of your critical tasks. For someone else, maybe it's like they're so bad at tracking their food that they have to put the amount of protein that they're going to consume. But having a weekly mapped out perfect week on how it should look, but then also scaling it down to these are the 5 critical tasks that I'm going to do each day, setting it the night before. This increases the likelihood that you guys will have time for the most important areas of your life, but also your health and your fitness. All right, guys. So that's what I got for you guys today. Hopefully you guys are inspired to make 3 to 4 workouts per week, get your 30-minute to 45-minute walk every day. And as we mentioned, do more in your 164. Coach Cory, guys, I'm signing out. Hopefully you guys get some great value from this. Share this one out there to one of your friends or family members that, hey, they're not working out and they're making the excuse right now that, hey, I don't have enough time. Hopefully this one will inspire them. Keep tuning in, guys. Comment, let us know what type of episodes you guys are looking for, and we're going to do our best to keep providing you guys value. Coach Cory, signing out. Beastin'. How long was that? Perfect.
Excellent. That's great. I like it. It was a good episode.